Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 4 vs 4 on Carpiquet, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 352nd Infantry Division. I'm playing with Betts, who is also using the 352nd, and then we have a couple of randoms on our team who are using the 116th Panzer and 21st Panzer Division. Then we have on the opposing side 15th Infantry Scots, 3rd Armoured, and then 6th Airborne, and another 15th Infantry Scots. So, this was a game that I wanted to play just because there's a few units in the 352nd I wanted to try out, and I've made a few changes to the division lately, so you can check those out. I'll leave the deck code in the description as I normally do. Basically, just changed in some sort of IG-33s, not relying on IG-18 so much in Phase A. There was a couple of other changes as well to like AA. More specifically, because AA is a little bit more potent now, so making use of the 37mm autocannons and the flak fillings was something that I tried to do in this game, especially considering I ended up against the 6th Airborne. But let's just turn this around to my perspective, and we'll put it to my perspective, and we'll talk about what's happening on the map. So going into this game, I kind of expected with the infantry division that I'd be taking the town. Turns out that Scato wanted to go there with his 116th Panzer Division, which I was a bit concerned about because 116th really don't get enough infantry to hold. But either way, we have Clermin on the left side, who is using his 21st Panzer there. That's fine. He's got plenty of open ground to work with, and he can bring in an Impact 43 at the start, which will work out nicely. And then we have Betts, who's going to be taking the right side of the airfield with the 352nd, so he's got this bunker complex to defend, basically. And we were also concerned about the 116th in the town, so we were both sort of discussing whether or not we should help out there with some infantry, like after our initial engagements. But over on the far right, you have me, and I'm going to be trying to take advantage of the landscape on this far right to push forwards. You can't really push across the open here. 352nd don't push well across the open, especially against the 15th Infantry Scots. So I was kind of planning to play against one of the armoured divisions, either the 3rd Armoured or the 15th Infantry. So, yeah, basically I wasn't planning to push across the open, and it's very hard to as a 352nd because you're relying on cheap infantry. You don't have much 1,200 meter range fire support until like Pack 40s in Phase B, so you've got to play it very defensively in Phase A. However, on this right side, there's these orchards that you can sort of use to make engagement happen at the ranges you'd like, and then move on from there. So the great thing about this side part here is the tree lines blocking them off. So you can have like IG-18 here, for example, fire into this tree line, fire into this tree line. You can barely be engaged by enemy machine guns. And even if it was, it's just Bren guns mostly on the opposing side. So nothing too much to worry about there. And you can have an IG-18 here just slamming into them, which is what I tried to do later on. But it also allows me to use MGs across the orchards here as well. Because with the Bren gun, it just doesn't do that much damage. Whereas when you have like MG-42s in your squads, especially with like the Grenadiers, you can have them in this tree line, and if infantry tries to come across the orchard, you engage with the machine guns and pin them down before they can get in range to use their 100 meter like capabilities, which is basically what you've got to try and do with this division. You can't really let them get close, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. And also you've got to be careful of artillery, because then again you'll also be in trouble. Artillery can very easily take out the support units that you use as the 352nd, so that's something to be wary of for sure. So it's been a while since I've done a replay. Most of my games lately have been live cast. This one, I was just in a TeamSpeak with loads of people while I was playing it, so the comms weren't exactly great between me and Betts, so there was nothing really to show on that front. So I decided to just bring it in as a replay and show it to you guys like I am. So Betts is going to be starting with Feldpanzer 3 and the Pack 38 in the middle. I've also got my own Pack 38 here with Grenführer and some Fusiliers. Moving further right, I've got even more AT guns. I've got 3 more Pack 38s. I have 6 in Phase A now, which is crazy. I've removed the Panzerjägers and replaced them with Pack 38s. Just because I find Pack 38s and AT guns in general to be a lot more reliable than the Panzerjägers. Panzerjägers are way too brittle. But trying to make as much ground as I can early on, so you can see I'm pushing up these Osttroopen and the Fusiliers pretty far forwards. I've also got Fusiliers on the right side here, and this is an IG-18 moving to this spot just here so that I can move it onto this orchard once I take control of this tree line. So here comes the fire from these 2-star Polstons. Those Osttroopen are in a horrible spot. They're going to get absolutely wrecked from multiple directions, and these Fusiliers aren't going to stand up to this Polston much either, so going to be forced to fall these guys back. Going to leave the Osttroopen there, just hold the front line forwards a little bit. Betts' Pack 38 is doing its best to take out the command carrier. So at the start of the game, what happened in the town was Scato brought up the Panzerwerfers here, and he literally brought up 2 Panzerwerfers and a bunch of recon infantry. The recon infantry obviously to spot what he's firing at, but bringing up 2 Panzerwerfers left him very vulnerable to like a rush. Like if he got rushed into the town, it would have done so much damage. It would have just ripped through his Panzerwerfers, taken over half the map, and we would have been in a really bad spot. So on our first tick or so, myself and Betts are bringing in plenty of infantry just to make sure that this town holds. Over on the left side, Vielfachwerfer moving up from Clermont. On the right side, my Osttroopen do end up dying. And I'm actually having to hold my Pack 38 behind the trees here so they don't get hit by that fire support as well. Fusiliers are starting to move up on this right side and are revealing the Vickers there. And I'm going to have to figure out a way to get past all of this fire support and so on. So I'm actually bringing up 2 mortars now. I've also got another IG-18 on the way. So this will require infantry, IG-18s, and some mortars to just push through this tree line, take control of this one, and then if they push from this tree line, I can have my IG-18 sitting here and slamming them. That is literally the whole idea of my push, meanwhile just holding the middle and across the open here. The Gaduin's bringing in some Tetrarchs. Do have 2 AT guns kind of covering the road here though. Meanwhile on this left side, MG42 busy pinning down rifles all over the place. Got Betts moving a Kubel MG to the middle of the map, and my Grenadiers have finally arrived in the town. I've just got them on unloaded command orders here. This Grenadier squad is currently not in the best spot. Like I said, I put them on unloaded position. This one managed to actually get into a building, this one didn't. So it's in the line of fire of the Churchill 5, and as you can see, it gets slammed. The idea was to quite simply just drop these Grenadiers off and then have them just automatically fire at whatever that needs to be fired at, whilst whoever really wants to push it can. But M4A1 comes in and surrenders 1 already, and the one on the street gets hit very hard by the fire support down the road. Meanwhile, I've got a little skirmish going on here still between these Fusiliers. It kind of happens for quite a while. Moving over a Pack 38 to this far right side as well, just so that I can't be pushed on by Staghounds, or like the Tetrarchs, for example, might come in and swing things in their favour. Especially Tetrarchs Yeses. Just got to be a little bit careful about that. Some artillery coming in towards that IG-18, but nothing too much to worry about at the moment. And the continuous engagement in this town is pretty crazy at the moment. So just got to rely on Scato to use his Panzerwerfers effectively and make sure he hits the right targets. One of my Grenadiers is going to go down there in cover due to the Vickers HMG rifles and command carrier firing at them. Betts is also not having the best time here with his infantry. I'm going to be bringing up an AT gun after Betts requested it, and that's to take care of these half tracks and also maybe the M4A1 that's been pushing through the town, the Churchills and so on. If they continue to push that closely with those Churchills, then I can definitely take them out with the AT gun at that range. I'm surprised not to have seen an AVRE in the town. The Churchill 5s are very good, but an AVRE in a town is way better than the Churchill 5 because of the engagement range and just the sheer capability of the unit. So the HE value of the AVRE is just really strong. By the way, here Mosquito Pathfinder gunner coming in. Really nice strike onto my mortars. Kind of see this coming, and I already ordered the 81mm mortars to like run the hell away. This one got stuck, and I tell it to fall back, and it just runs through the flames, so not too much I can do about that. IG-18 is brought up. This 3-inch mortar does get caught out briefly, and then hit by the pack there. So I'm going to be forced to pull that back, possibly. But either way, mortar fire going to continue on this right side. It's been helping me so far to hold back any infantry there that was attacking the Fusiliers. In the middle of the map, Betz's Kubel MG went down, so a little bit of a salient occurring over the airfield. So I'm just going to have to bring up a unit of Osttroopen just to hold that back. Meanwhile, Pack 38 engaging M8 in the town. M8's actually going to get the jump off, but the Panzer Grenadiers, they're going to end up getting the kill, so that was good. So it's quite simply up to Skellento here to make sure he's getting these Panzerwerfers in the right place. Like, for example, if you put a Panzerwerfer on this group here, and like this group here, he can take out the AT gun, which is very important, and as well as like slam this Honey and MMG carrier and stuff into the ground, which would be so useful, especially considering like they're pushing really hard in that location, and then more infantry can come in and secure it. That's what I would be looking for. Over here, MG42 sitting in these bunkers still, slamming the infantry. Betz wanted me to point this out because these used up a lot of ammunition throughout the game. More artillery coming in onto that IG, and I'm going to fall it back just to make sure it doesn't get killed off. Fusiliers can stay there because they probably aren't spotted. It's normally just the support weapons that do get spotted. So try not to keep your infantry next to support units wherever possible, because the support units will get spotted. They'll artillery the support units and unwittingly hit your infantry. But here, one of my mortars is still alive, so that's going to help me take on these scouts, because and some airborne paras that are going to be pushing the Fusiliers here. Don't have to worry about the airborne paras too much, only have 2 or 4 HE value at this range. Also managing to get my IG-18 up now to start attacking this tree line. With the Fusiliers here, anything that moves through should get spotted, so I'm safe to move these up now, and I've also got some reinforcing infantry arriving and some more Fusiliers. Now that's another thing that I changed on this division. I removed the recon car that I had and just added more recon infantry, because I didn't find I used the recon car that much, if at all. So just having more Fusiliers, which I use a lot, would be very nice. So just going to continue to move forwards to Pack 43 or 38, get it into a better position there. Going to leave those Grenadiers where they are just because it's a really nice defensive position to cover the orchard. And my Osttroopen have made it to the airfield, so that gets rid of that salient, gives us a +1 for a little while. The push continuing on the right side, making a little bit of ground here. Over on the far left, Clement doing a fantastic job. He's used Panzer IV Cs and 222s to push all the way up so far. My Pack 38 goes down in the town. To a mortar, I think that was. But yeah, unconventional push here, working out quite nicely for Clement at the moment. Those 9 HE on the main guns can be quite efficient at taking out AT guns. He's also got this Pack 43 that has a really nice line of sight. But I'm sure you guys want to see what I'm doing. So on this far right side, mortar fire coming in again to assist against the airborne paras. And this is what I was talking about in terms of engagement range. They're engaging us at about 180 meters. And that means that only 4 HE is being used. I can bring up an IG-18 and just slam these guys straight in the face without being scared of their 100-meter capabilities. Ideally there, what Gadjuin would want to be doing is actually running his infantry straight up into my grenadiers, because he would do a lot more damage. But the mortar's going to hold them back for now, and I'm actually going to end up stunning up my own grenadier squad because of that, because I try and move forwards and make them surrender, but Gadjuin's not going to let that happen. So Panzer 3L takes out the Honey there. My Pack 38 is kind of waiting here to get line of sight onto the Churchill 5. They're going to be taking one shot and missing. Still got his side armor facing, gets bailed out, and then I finish it off. So AT gun does the job there. Another Mosquito Pathfinder coming in. My AA is on the way. Got 2 flak billings coming in, but gonna be a little bit too late to stop my mortar from getting pinned down there by the flames, and when I tell it to fall back, well, once again it just runs straight back in. So I'm going to be losing that mortar. Flak fillings are just a little bit too late, but they are there now. So I'm bringing up some more artillery, some FK-18s. Also got another IG-18 on the way, and this IG-18's now got its sights on the Tripolston. Direct hit, Tripolston dead. If that hadn't have direct hit, I'm pretty sure the Tripolston would have done a lot of damage to my IG-18 there, maybe even killed it very quickly. But with that dead, it allows me to move forwards my Grenadiers and try and stop this push of the airborne paras. Still got to be very careful though, mustn't let them get really into range of these Grenadiers, otherwise they could be in trouble. I'm going to have to get rid of this carrier recce with the IG-18 before I target the infantry, because otherwise that's just going to pin down my IG-18, and the IG-18 should be able to do the job there quicker. So that's working out so far. Going to fall back those Grenadiers, get my Grenadiers into a better position with the Fusiliers, and if they push across the open, we can kill them off. So, meanwhile, we have a little bit of a salient occurring from the opponents in the middle of the map. But we're still running +1 thanks to Clement pushing up very aggressively, and a little bit of ground that I've made on the right side. Anti-air coming up here, and Scatto's going to be using his ME-109 to try and get onto the back of these Spitfires, bringing in a second there. As soon as that AA pins down one of the Spitfires, they are going to die very quickly. I do get bombed here by a Mosquito, but all I've got to do is make sure that my FK-18s are pinning down anything that can come towards me. And I unload my IG-18 there just after I get fired at by the 6-pounder. And that IG-18 should be good enough to take out the AT gun there. So I moved up my Grenadiers that were hanging back now that we've made a little bit of ground. And over on this left side, looks like Pak-43s were used throughout the game to just continuously harass anything that came down here. And this is the 3rd armoured player, so it's going to be very hard for him to push against this early on, because Pak-43 just counters anything that he can throw at them, and the mortar carriers need to be in the same range of the Pak-43 to be effective. So ideally what he wants to do here is move the mortar carrier behind the tree line and then mortar the Pak-43 rather than just going straight for it. Another Mosquito coming in. They're just trying to bomb out my IG-18 desperately, as it's doing a lot of damage. They do manage to do so and pin down a lot of my units here, but IG-33 takes care of whatever it was in this tree patch there. My Pak-38 in this tree line was taken out by an initial attack from a mortar, and then Tetrarch comes down, Pak-38 does the job. That's got range onto that road, so covering it from multiple directions always allows me to cover off small attacks like that. So the airborne leader going down there. Grenadiers are absolutely fine. Still have the Grenführer that's recovered, so that's going to stop anything from surrendering for now. Now my Grenadiers are being harassed really hard by Churchill 5s and the M5A1 here. Not really much I can do about that. Mortar fire coming in as well. Could have probably tried to fall them back, but wasn't really paying attention to that. Moving forward is this Pak-38 now as well, just to try and get them into a better position, but I end up running them into the line of sight of some rifles there and don't really notice for a pretty long time. FK-18 still firing away over here. These little support guns are really nice, and well, with that artillery coming in, Gadjuin is gonna leave the game. I'm not sure if he basically just surrendered and gave up, or if his game crashed, because it seemed a bit odd they would be bringing in a Mosquito Pathfinder and then just give up unless my artillery hit something that he cared about. But there goes a Tetrarch as the AI takes over, and this is where things start to get a bit more serious on this right side, as the AI starts to spam me with all of the units that Gadjuin had held back. But I've got 2 Pack 40s on the field now. I've got my 2 flak Villings in position. I've got IG-18s, Pack 38s everywhere. Then those are supported by the FK-18s, which allow me to pin down anything that becomes a nuisance. Also have reinforcing infantry coming up on the right flank. And I've got plenty of command infantry everywhere, giving extra veterancy to all of my fire support weapons. You can see that's what I'm going to be doing with this Pioneer Fury here. Just going to be giving the extra veterancy to the Pack 40 and the Pack 38. And this Pack 38 ends up actually taking out the Cromwell. The great thing about these Pack 40s as well is that they do have the HE shells. So against all of this 1000 meter range fire support, they do really well. Like that, taking out those Polstons and so on. Austrian squad still alive on the field there. Ammo explosion on that Churchill as it gets hit by the Stug 3. All of these units in the open here being hit very hard by the AA there. Over on the right side, airborne Piat getting destroyed. AT guns just pushing towards me. I'm going to get hit by the Pack 40 now. Got all the time in the world to take those out. I've also brought up an MG42, and that's just to literally cover my infantry as it moves up. MG42s are great at like pinning down units very quickly. So if I get it into a decent position, like here, as I'm moving across towards this tree line, for example, I can pin down any infantry firing back. A Polston though, having to go at the Fusiliers there. I do manage to get back into cover in time, so that's okay. I've also got a Flak 88 coming up. And that's just to take position and get the 1200 meter range onto this tree line. But the Polston finally going to go down there as the Flak Villing actually gets line of sight onto that. A little bit of an air engagement just occurring there from Scalento. And he's also just Panzerwerfered like all of these units that were pushing across the open. So although the Panzerwerfers were very unconventional early on, having both of them available from the start of the game allowed him to do quite a lot of damage and hold a lot of units back. There goes a 3-inch mortar. Going to be trying to engage the Pack 75mm there as well with the 88, but 75mm managed to get the jump onto my 88 instead. So just got a matter of like retreating that. Over here what I'm doing, there was quite a lot of infantry pushing up from the AI, so I'm slamming where they are coming in with the FK-18s. I'm also now bringing up a couple of AA units, an extra couple of AA units. These are the 37mm auto cannons on the half tracks. Quite simply because I need something longer range to stun the airplanes before the Flak Villings get in range. So basically what happens is you have like the Flak 38s hit the aircraft beforehand, and it's like halfway stunned until it gets into range of the Flak Villing, and then the Flak Villing does the rest basically. Here comes a Mosquito. I've also got this Flak 88 here now as well. That helps disperse these bombs a little. Ends up missing these Fusiliers somehow, and we get away with that bombing strike. So my Osttroop here being pinned down by the Bren group, and the Churchill 5s having to go as well. Panzerwerfer is still being used in the town. Nice Scato. And now we have a Mosquito Pathfinder coming in on its right side. Doesn't even manage to drop a single bomb this time round. Gets hit very hard in return as well. You can see it goes away with oil leaks all over. The FK-18 is still firing away, pinning down all of this infantry that's trying to press forwards. Pack 38 also still has the line of sight there onto the Tetrucks, yes, so if that tries to move forwards, it's just going to die every time. Grenadier is trying to make some ground here, getting pinned down by the Bren group. Just going to move up my Pack 40 now with the HE shell, should be able to do some work there, and I can also move up this IG-18 to this tree patch and and do something there as well. So Flak 88 comes in and picks up that Tetrarch CS kill. I'm pretty much just holding off against like a never-ending flood of AI units there. But over on this left side, Clement doing a fantastic job. That Pack 43 is still in the same place. I was really surprised that the third armor player let that happen. He probably should have called for like a Mosquito Strike. Well, probably not a Mosquito Strike because it's an AI, they probably won't help him, but just something, even Typhoons or something from the 15th Infantry to hit these Pack 43s and the Pack 38s so that he can move forward with his own tanks. Because at the moment, things aren't looking good for Thomas. He's lost a lot of ground. Even if he does get those Panzer kills, it doesn't really matter. So getting a Fusilier squad really far up on this right side now to replace the one with 1 health that was left over. That's going to reveal some infantry in this tree line that gives targets for my IG-18 and the MG-42. Gives me time to press forwards these grenadiers into this tree line where there's now a Bren group. And that Bren group's going to get slammed as well, this time by the Flak-Villing as well, and you can see that they're just going to surrender instantly as there is no command nearby. Challenger's going to be hitting my Fusiliers. There's lots of like weird line of sight on this map, because you wouldn't expect that tank to be able to hit that Fusilier squad, especially with all of the vegetation here, but they can, and they do, and they force my Fusiliers to fall back for now. IG-18 and the Flak 88s hitting all of this infantry that's pressing me here, and I've now got the FK-18s firing a little bit further back to try and take those out as well. So AI spam not really working out, and here we see the Panzer IIIs take out a Churchill there, more Panzerwerfers doing their thing in the town. We have the Fieldwerfer from Clermont firing non-stop as well, and Betz also has some Nebelwerfers. So all to play for still. Got some artillery coming in from the Vesper here, and that's going for the 17-pounder kill. So another Mosquito coming up. That's going to get hammered pretty damn hard by my AA. It spends way too much time over it and does get shot down, and that's the first Mosquito I've shot down with AA in a long time. So that's 2 Flak-Villings getting on target for quite a serious amount of time, as well as the 1000-meter Pack 38s, or the Flak 38s. The bombs from that second Mosquito though do manage to pin down my units for a little while, but didn't do too much damage, and this IG-18 has just got the perfect like sight onto all of this infantry to do loads of damage. So as long as they continue to engage my grenadiers there, this IG-18 can just go to work. This IG-18 as well, attack moving up this hedgerow, is going to be able to hit the paras there very hard. And I've also got Pack 38 moving up, this Pack 38 as well. I'm starting to move up all my fire support units in one big spread against the AI, because they're just like plowing units into the same location. It's very easy to like mop that up with those IG-18s and the FK-18s. They can pin them down very quickly. Since I had a few points left over, I also invested into a J88 at this point. That's going to be coming in over the rocket town, and just try and bomb out this 17-pounder. Doesn't really hit the mark properly. I think it missed a little bit because it was affected by its morale. I should have killed off the 17-pounder, but it didn't, because those are 25 HE power bombs. Now over here we see the Flak-Werfer pinning down the AT gun. It's rushed by the 222s of Clermont and the Panzer IV there. And now he's also got the King Tiger coming up. And this here is the Elite King Tiger. Like the veteran one, you can get it from buying the deluxe version of Steel Division. I don't have the deluxe version of Steel Division actually, but it is Kurt Nipsel in his Königstiger, and he's going to be having fun going up against Thomas with that. So, meanwhile, on my side, you can see I have so many units here. They're just building up. It's just a bunch of IG-18s spread out. There's 4 IG-18s here. We got a couple of Pack 40s. I've got multiple Flak 88s. Got 2 there. Got 2 more coming up. Got the FK-18s further back, which are just basically bringing the pain onto all of this infantry and these tree lines, and also pinning down the Challenger in the process. And that's going to allow the Pack 40 to force that to fall back, and then with a second shot, get that kill. And look at all that infantry run. Just ridiculous. The AI just spamming them all in the same place. Meanwhile, just bringing up the Flak 88s to kill off even more units. Staghound going down there to the Flak 88 here. IG-18 is now getting on line of sight, and each sort of part of the front line, once it gets line of sight onto anything, just demolishes it very quickly. For example, the air landing there getting hit very hard. Meanwhile, we've got the IG-18 crossfiring, and yeah, Fusiliers leading the charge. I've got a lot of Fusilier squads. A couple of them only on 1 health now, but they're still useful as long as you keep them hidden. Ostrupen's still alive on the airfield in the centre, and Betts is trying to roll up a Flak 88 there now. Nebelwerfer is going to be destroying that 17-pounder and Tripolston very easily. Mosquito coming in, gets insta-stunned by all of my Flak 88s. I do lose a Pack 43 to some machine guns, I believe, from an infantry squad, but that infantry squad didn't want to stick around for too much longer. The FK-18 is still firing away, bringing up the munitions truck here just to resupply them. Fantastic thing about these FK-18s, they have so much ammunition anyway. Look at that, 120 rounds. That's only on 1 FK-18. Still getting through them very quickly, but they can pretty much fire for the whole game. And all of this infantry that the AI is pressing there just can't move forwards. Any tanks that try and come over this bridge are just going to get wrecked as well. So there is a Cromwell here, and that is going to fire at my Pack 40 and kill it, but the Pack 40 manages to land a kill shot first, so that worked out nicely. Pack 38 going to be taking out one of the Tetrarch CSs, and the other one's going to be forced to fall back by my IG-18. My Pack 40 over here is getting mortared to death, as I did bring that up to try and take out a Churchill or two. The town's still very much contested, but over on this left side you can see that there is a lot still going on. The King Tiger, though, actually ended up dying. Probably to a 17-pounder. That's the trouble with the Scots, is that they do have 17-pounders and they can be very effective. But since that Cromwell's dead on the right side, I can use my AA to help us out here. You can see the flak-filling firing, and the IG-33 does a lot of damage to anything that it discovers. Finally bringing out those IG-33s to do the damage here. I've also got the IG-18 that I can move into this tree line soon. As well as all that, I have a Nebelwerfer 42 coming up. So where Betts has been using Nebelwerfer 41s in this town over here, as you can see, I'm using a Nebelwerfer 42, which is the big brother, and that's going to be firing where that clump of infantry is. So that's the AI for you. Mosquito Pathfinder does bring in the napalm there, which does hit my flak filling. But here goes the rockets. You can see it is doing quite a lot of damage. Did take out a couple of units. I kind of missed the mark slightly. Makes that burn out, and a lot of this infantry is going to run through the flames as well. So made a lot of stuff fall back. Let's head back to my point of view. AA field even causing the Spitfire nearly to get shot down just from being nearby. There's like multiple flak 88s, the 4 flak 88s there. Then we have like the 2 SDKF Z72s, and the 2 flak billings are still alive as well. So I've got some Ersatz Truppen coming up. These are just to advance the front line even more. Can't really just push support units through tree lines, otherwise they'll get killed by infantry. So you've got to have some form of infantry there, and that's cheap enough to just throw away and chuck into those tree lines, and then I can bring the fire support into those tree lines and kill off any tanks that are on the other side and so on. But yeah, it's +2 at the moment, 59% territory lead, mainly thanks to Clermont and also myself now on the right side, but can't really say too much about this because it was against AI at this point, of course. But still, shows the effectiveness of these sort of rolling pushes, I guess. Bringing out the IG-18 Flak 88 combos with the Pack 40s in Phase B. Really nice. Like, spamming those Pack 40s is like such a good way to do things in Phase B as a 352nd. But you just have to be wary that your opponent isn't using sufficient artillery. Almost shoot down another Mosquito there. Don't quite manage to do so. Going to be moving my Nebelwerfer 42 here. It's got an unload at command order just to resupply it. And the AI constantly trying to bring in this Ulster. I think it was running out of things to throw at me at this point. And over on this left side, well, Pack 43 now finally being hit. M4A3 being brought in by Thomas. This is exactly what he needed early on. Bringing this in like Phase B to take out that Pack 43 would have been really nice. Because you can fire it short and get those like stunning shots off, and then fully engage it to actually kill it. The 17-pounder revealing itself by shooting at the SDKFZ 7. Big mistake, as the Black 88s now have a target to which they can just destroy, and that's the 17-pounder down. AI just being a little bit silly there. But meanwhile over here, MG42 still hanging out in this bunker complex. Bet's holding on for the entire game here, now using a Pack 43 to keep the tanks back. Also a Pack 40 rolling up onto the main airfield as well. We also have Scato with his Panther Gs available now, so we're starting to make some serious ground here. And Ryan Werfer is also being used in the town here, as you can see. All sorts of artillery coming in from all players to help out. Pretty sure this town always turns into an absolute bloodbath. So the ersatz moving forwards, revealing the infantry as I engage them. That allows the artillery to come in, and then the fire support weapons can move up and engage them as well. I've also got a couple of Stugs on the way now. They're going to provide me with a bit of armor support, which I haven't been using for the entire game, but just thought that they'd be a nice little addition to this push, because there's only so much you can have on the field before it gets a bit overwhelming. As you can see, there is like so much here, and all of these units have like little orders all over the place because I've been like attack moving them all forwards. But still, it does get too much sometimes, and especially when you're trying to like concentrate on what's happening elsewhere. There's like a big air engagement here, for example. But there's quite a few AA pieces there now. Doesn't stop a couple units getting shot down though. The IG-18 is taken out over here by some Bren group. But we're also busy taking out units on this right side still. And there's currently 1 minute and 50 seconds left until we win, so I decide just to fire a bunch of planes in. So here comes 2 Ju-88s. And these are going to go for the bombing strikes onto the 17-pounder and M1 gun. I already had one that I'd bought in earlier. He was still alive. So I decided to actually use them before the end of the game, and I saw that Thomas didn't really have much AA here, so bombing out these AT guns would be easy. And then I've also got a Ju-87. And this is going to come in for shots onto the Jumbo and the 105mm and so on. And one shot onto the Jumbo. Goes for a shot onto the M4A3, comes back down, goes for another shot, gets the kill. And since there's no Air Force here and a couple of Flak 88s, I kind of feel safe enough to continue with another run with the Ju-88s, or Ju-87, so just going to bring that round, attack the Stuart Ream, and then attack the 105 mil there. So managed to do one shot, but unfortunately bounce, and then he actually does bring in some AA to counter, followed by a couple of Spitfires from Distiology. And I thought I might be able to catch them out with the Focke-Wulf 190, but with all the AA there and another Spitfire coming in, it's going to shoot me down. So I do lose a couple of planes, but I got a nice amount of kills from that airstrike. Meanwhile, on this right side, Bet's brought in a ton of Ersatz-Truppen to help me push over here. But we're getting very close to the end of the game now. With the +2 lead, 61% territory. Push so damn hard on this right side against the AI. We're coming up to the 2,500 point score. And we're just about winning in that town now. There you have it, 37 minutes and 32 seconds. We are victorious. And if we jump to the team score, well, plenty of kills for me. Most of them AI, of course, after the initial 20 minutes of the game. But only 1,355 losses, which was quite nice. In that town, anyone who contributed lost so many units, like Bet's. 2,555 kills to 3,090 losses. Just had to provide all the infantry for the pushes into that town, and it's just an absolute nightmare because you get crushed by airstrikes, by artillery, and there's not really too much you can do, but definitely helped defend the airfield quite nicely in the centre. Scato being very risky at the start of the game with his Panzerwerfer strategy, but we managed to pull it back later on, I guess. And over on that far left flank, well, Clement definitely made a lot of ground. I think he started to suffer once he got so far up. As you can see, he did still lose quite a lot of units. But if we jump over to my kills, it's just a combination of multiple fire support weapons, IG-18s, IG-33s, PaK-38s. Flakvilling there even got plenty of kills. And we also see more when the PaK-40s came in, they picked off plenty of those tanks. Flak 88s, one of them even shot down the Mosquito. More IG-18s, FK-18s getting kills, Nebelwerfer getting some kills. Yeah, it's quite spread out. And then, of course, at the end, the Ju-87. Just having a turkey shoot with those tanks until the AA came in. There you have it. That is all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.